In this video, we're going to be talking about a super radio by General Electric, but not this particular one. We are going to look at it very briefly. This is General Electric's very first super radio, introduced in 1979 and ran through 1985. As you see, it has a single 6.5-inch full-range speaker. Otherwise, everything else is the same. Loudness, it has separate bass and treble controls and the AFC switch. What makes it so super? Long range and high selectivity. This tuner has 3 IF stages on FM and 4 IF stages on AM. So lots of DXing to do on this. I mean, I can pull in stations thousands of miles away with this thing on a good night. It has an FM antenna and an AM antenna that spans the whole width of the back. It proudly boasts a 200mm AM ferrite rod antenna, as well as separate FM and AM external antenna inputs. Alright, the model a lot of people are more familiar with is the Superadio 2. Other than some slightly updated cosmetics, it's almost the same as the Superadio 1 and adds a tweeter. It definitely is a hi-fi radio that puts out a lot of bass. It's not powerful, but it sounds really good, and it does go loud. And the back is the same. Now, there's something to point out about this. This one came out in 1986. They ran it until 1992, exactly looking like this, which at the time would have been, as much as I hate the word, dated. They ran this model up until 1992, and this model is from 1992, going by the date code on it. There are several revisions to it, but the one thing you know it's from 1992, made in China. Dun, 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 dun. But it's the same radio. Since I guess I consider myself the General Electric expert on the Boombox end of things anyways. When GE was still GE, they had 2 facilities, Singapore and Hong Kong. This is purely GE's own design, and you will not find a super radio under a clone of it or an OEM. And what do I mean is GE, especially in particular their boomboxes, they made their own and they OEM stuff, but a lot of the OEM stuff was custom to GE. Even though this is from 1992 and they kept the old style General Electric spelled out, this is how it went. After Thompson took over around 86, you'll see things start to say there was no more Singapore or Hong Kong, but it'll be made in Malaysia. And that lasted up until like 89 or 90, then it started saying made in China. Where? We don't know. And of course, after this comes the Superadio 3, which I don't have, and it's definitely not as good looking as this. In fact, it has that typical 90s cheap look to it. I do want to get one just to say I have all 3 versions of the Superadio. Plus, it has the wideband AM. Alright, enough. I just want to show you the original Superadios. Okay? And now for the model we're going to show in this video. This one. This is the GE Model 3-5280A from 1981. So before we even had the Superadio 2 of woofer and tweeter, we had this model. Although this one has a 4-inch woofer and 2-inch tweeter. Now, this I would classify as a mono boombox. Before we get into everything, yes, this is a Superadio. GE was weird in that they did not advertise the Superadio tuner on many things, even though it had it. They always listed it on the box you bought it in, or even in the manual, but on the unit itself, there's only 2 clues this has a Superadio tuner. It'll say long range, high selectivity. I'm not going to use my flash now because it's so shiny it just reflects back and causes glare problems. And this example is made by GE Hong Kong. Another way to identify who made it would be by the FCC ID, and GE's will always be AKJ. I tried looking up info on this model, and somebody who was claiming to be some expert was making up stuff. Say, like, I think it's made by Sanyo or Toshiba. No. Okay, so, anyways, it's being a real boombox. As I said, I do classify this as a boombox. It is heavy, considerably heavier than the Super Radios themselves, the original Super Radios. And we'll go over everything. Now, this is in its final restored state. And I got this August 2024. And that was before I really started to improve upon the videos here with the restoration process and recording it. However, I will show you in a little bit what I had to do to this thing. But first, I want to show you some other examples of Super Radios. I currently do not have it powered on, but here's the GE Fidelity 1 clock radio with a 5x7 oval speaker. And it too has a Super Radio tuner. It's not advertised on it, not even on the little sticker that's on top, which you could kind of see there. I did a video on this, link in the upper right. But yes, that has the Super Radio tuner. Here's the GE 3-6000A Super Radio Boombox. It doesn't say Super Radio on it, but it does say DX Long Range High Sensitivity. And one thing about all the Super Radio tuner units, they all have an automatic frequency control switch, so you can better control tuning in stations. So there's that one. This is the GE 3-5266B from 1984. Nowhere on it does it say it has a Super Radio tuner, but it does. It does have the AFC switch as well. And I've had quite a few people comment on my video of this, telling me how much of a sleeper it is. And it's true. Yeah, it boasts it has 5 watts per channel, but it's definitely very, very modest in that, because this one guy left a comment saying how he had one when he was in high school back in the day, and it was so loud it overpowered everybody else's boombox, and he basically got banned from taking it to school and on the bus because of it. But yeah, this one, not only is it loud, but it sounds really good. It really puts out a lot of bass. So yes, this one does have a Super Radio tuner as well. This is probably my best sounding box in my collection. It has a 3-way ported speaker. It also has 5 watts per channel, but it definitely is louder than that. I mean, when you could crank this thing even with the bass all the way up. It will not distort. I had on like 8 out of 10, and went across the house, it's like it sounded like a subwoofer. No kidding. And this one's made by GE Singapore, and this one does say Super Radio Series on it with the AFC switch, and it has VU meters and tuning meters, so you can actually help tune stations with it. It sounds, again, probably my best sounding box. And that's yet another Super Radio tuner unit by GE. And I think that's it in terms of what I have for GE Super Radios. Now this, it seems like, I think the actual Super Radios were the only ones to have 4 IF stages on the AM. And I think everything else I just showed you has 3 IF stages on the AM. I think that's really the only difference. Now here's a quick look at the unit when I first got it. As you can see, it's very dirty. That front faceplate was taped on by somebody in the past, and that mode switch was broken right there. It was stuck on sleep. But as you can see, the cassette deck still works in all modes, even without me servicing it just yet. Now on the inside, the aluminum faceplate for the tuner dial scale fell off. That's typical. So I glued that back on. That's the tape counter belt. All the belts are still good on it, including that flat skinny belt. That's the main tape drive. And that's what happened. The switch physically broke and it jammed into the sleep position. Now here's another thing about the Super Radio. It has a large open air capacitor for tuning with nice gear reduction, as you can see. Yes, it does take up a lot more space than a polyvaricon tuning capacitor, but it definitely improves its performance. It has a nice metal shield around all the tuning components, and that power transformer adds a lot of weight to the unit too. And there's your AM antenna, which spans nearly the entire length of the unit. And that's everything. The only cosmetic issue I have is this little piece broke off. It was like that when I got it. Unfortunately on this one, this is strictly decorative, whereas some other GEs I have, you could unscrew that and pop the cover off. But I will assure you this part here is indeed metal. A little bar right there. So let's go over what's going on in the front of the unit here. It does have a meter, a digital LED meter for audio and record level, tuning, and battery meter. And I'll show how all that works in which modes. And there's your tuner, and it does say AFC with switchable AFC. So starting off, the very first switch is for automatic frequency control. And now the part that's not very common at all. This is a mono cassette recorder with chrome tape support. Yep. It's not unheard of. I have a shoebox tape recorder from the 70s, rather high end, from Sears, that has chrome tape support as well. But on mono units, it's not very common at all. But even on normal bias tapes, it sounds amazing. It has a meter switch. You have it off, you can have it for battery or tuning. And when it's in cassette mode, it's battery. And when you have it on tuner, it's tuning. And the switch all the way up is, of course, your level. It does have a loudness contour switch, band FM and AM, and tape, radio, and sleep functions. It'll activate the radio when you have a cassette pressed to play. The point was, let's just say you put in a C60 or C90 tape. Well, after 30 minutes or 45 minutes, the tape runs out and the radio shuts off. That's the point of it. I never really used it. I never really used that function before. Of course, it has bass, treble controls, volume, a built-in microphone. And like I said, it's a 4-inch woofer and a 2-inch tweeter. General Electric. It does have a tape counter. And the mechanism in it is an earlier Tanishan. And I do like these earlier Tanishans before the 1986 ones. As you can see, the layout's still a little different. Record, rewind, fast forward. It does have review and cue functions. Play, stop, eject, and pause. I know exactly the mechanism this uses, and each and every one use a very skinny flat belt that is non-existent today. So the good news is all these belts I've run across always appear to be still good. So I just clean them with rubber rejuve and clean tape path, and it seems to be fine. They always seem to work with no flutter, and the tape speed always seems to be correct. Here's the tuning knob, all shiny and stuff. And now the back, I'm going to turn the flash on for it. So there's your model information. 6D batteries, AKJ, made in Hong Kong. Does have your AM beat cut switch oscillator. All your input and output jacks are right here. It does have a 9-volt DC input for car use, so it would have a DC to DC converter adapter when you use it for a car. Earphone, microphone, and remote jacks. And just like the Super Radio, the actual Super Radios, it has your FM and AM external antenna inputs. Power input and the battery compartment. And it also has little loops to put on a carrying strap. I actually do have a General Electric We Bring Good Things to Life carrying strap that was for boomboxes. It's on another boombox I got from 81 that's a GE instead. If I ever come across another, I'm going to put it on this one.
And as usual, I am not going to really adjust the antenna. I am sitting by a large window here. We'll just go through the dial scale and see what we can pick up without really doing anything. Of course, automatic frequency control turned off, because when you turn it on, it'll pull in whatever the strongest station is if the stations are really close together, and you'll completely miss weaker stations or other stations you're trying to tune in. So more than likely the FM whip antenna is going to be pointing towards Pittsburgh right now for best reception. And we'll just go through the dial scale. This is you can hear the station right here. Let me try something. I have it pointing in the opposite direction. I have it pointing north. I have no clue what this station is. So yes, I am going to break my little thing about not adjusting the antenna. I just have to show you how impressive the Superadio is on. Point it back towards Pittsburgh. Try it again. So here's a strong station. The treble response on this, it's treble's flat. I mean, you turn it up, it goes up.
Look out the window. People in the world, they do things together. They find ways.
There's something right there, as you can hear. It's funny how it's moving with the beat of the music.
Well, we got the same taste for the finer things.
Picky deals, everyone in the family can get what they're craving, from nugs to JBCs. The parental units can get $8.
It's Modelo Especial. A full-flavored golden lager with a crisp, refreshing taste from start.
Fighting all ties that bind.
Right up the gut.
Wait.
On first down, well, we had a couple yards and a back. Yes, and what happened was with the trips to the right, there's not that much blocking left.
Rules end to end.
21-7 in the third period.
Free 5G phones on their Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Correct for this radio.
Hey guys, it's us, the Jonas Brothers. I'm Joe.
I'm Kevin.
And I'm Nick. And guess what?
We created our own podcast called Hey Jonas.
We invented
this
a
is bad.
podcast.
It's the beaver
Well, we didn't
hairs.
invent it. We just contributed.
There's something right here. Let me see if I can pull it in better. Well, it'd be interesting to know what this station is. We can barely hear it at.
Just like a really bad time in our life. My relationship with my mom and everything wasn't super great.
If you're running for office, radio gets your message heard, not scrolled past. Reach communities.
A split second before the snap count. That's going to come back. Well, the point remains.
Is not the creator of the universe of time and space.
Call 304-652-4030. That's 304.
it's weak.
Proclaim what we know, proclaim what we believe, without any...
Play my guitar, play my...
You're good at never giving up. I'm good at getting
People struggling with tax debt. Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the
Tired
expert.
of being asked questions. Well, sick and tired is a strong way to put it, but, you know, tired and sick. Tired and sick. Listen to Hey Jonas on America's #1.
You may qualify for social compensation. Go to Social Abuse 88.
One call to process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment,
Something's
asset
right
seizure,
there.
and other aggressive...
less than you think. The Mercedes-Benz 48990. Visit Mercedes-Benz-of-Washington.com.
Hey guys, it's us, the Jonas Brothers. I'm Joe.
I'm Kevin.
There it
And
is
I'm Nick.
again.
And guess what? We created our own podcast.
This station is. This is that religious station.
Lord have mercy.
Yep. And it's actually broadcast in
Christ
mono.
have mercy.
Next we're moving on.
Nothing about you. Nothing about you. Something for me.
And I hit the end of the scale. Now, I'm going to try AM. The problem is it's not the radio, it's modern electronics. Yes, we do have some LED bulbs. How the FCC lets them get away with this, I don't know, but they're shooting this crap. They interfere with the radio big time. Let's... Something right there, not even lighting up the dial, tune meter. Turn it down so it doesn't blast us.
Beginning of the game. If there's an Achilles heel to the Beaver Bobcats, it's pass defense.
If this was a regular
And these
radio,
guys
we
from
wouldn't be
North
picking
Gator
any of
big
this up.
targets. We've talked all about rushing his...
As you can hear, even though we can barely make anything out, it's trying to pick up a ton of stations. This would be the thing where you take this outside, or maybe run on battery power, rotate the unit, or hook an external AM antenna to it, if you're that serious about the X.
Turn on the biggest, brightest spotlight ever. You'll notice the light come on.
A local official in the public around this area can stay away from any water drainage areas, stressing that further
As you see so far, we have yet to light up the tuning meter.
The transfer portal, you've got athletes that are transferring to...
That the kind of here isn't just a stronger version of us.
There were questions. What does it mean to state that before the...
What happens at that trade deadline? Coach did shed Kevin Alcantara season today, and he was 1 for 2. He had a single his last time.
Like, I'm cranking the volume. It's on 7. You can hear it's still coming through. It's not even lighting up the tuning. It's amazing. It's going to pick up a lot of noise now.
About the range of the ballistic missiles. They said, oh, it only goes 2,000 kilometers. It turned out it went 4,000 kilometers and reached not just the Middle East.
And we're at the end of the scale. Let me see if I can get a station identifier on one of these stations.
76 from north to South Philadelphia by way of Frankfurt Avenue and Delaware Avenue. KW's Mike DiNardo joining us. We need to step away. We will have more of this edition of The Week in Philly coming up right after this.
Oh, there's Philadelphia.
Evening filled with hope and progress at Evening Beyond Celiac 2026, a night devoted to human research.
Okay, so we're going to do something a little different. We're just going to flat out go right into a Type 2 chrome tape. Ignore what's on the label here. What I've been doing is picking up Type 2 chrome and metal tapes at the thrift stores whenever we see them, and I put them in a bin, and I'm going to utilize it. You know, Type 2 chrome on a recorder. We got to do it. Okay, so first, let's get everything ready. We'll go into record mode, press record and play at the same time. It is in level mode, automatic level control, of course, and we'll see that about the LED meters here. So okay, waiting for the leader to pass. Speaking about 2 feet away, maybe 3 feet away from the GE 3-5280A, using the built-in microphone, which is solely there just for convenience. But if you really want quality and hi-fi, let's hook an external microphone to this. Okay. Now I'm going to hook up a Sony microphone model F-96 from the 60s, mint in the box with its original carrying case. And now we are recording with the external microphone with the rear input. And if I had one with a remote switch, that would work as well. So yes, that's why these have external mic inputs, just for this reason. Get some hi-fi recording. So, testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we'll rewind. Okay, waiting for the leader to pass. Speaking about 2 feet away, maybe 3 feet away from the GE 3-5280A, using the built-in microphone, which is solely there just for convenience. But if you really want quality and hi-fi, let's hook an external microphone to this. And now we are recording with the external microphone with the rear input. And if I had one with a remote switch, that would work as well. So yes, that's why these have external mic inputs, just for this reason. Get some hi-fi recording. So, testing 1, 2, 3. And there you go. As you see, it sounded fantastic. Now, let's try to record something off of the radio. We'll pick something that does not contain copyrighted material to avoid the copyright police.
Roam anywhere, from coast to coast, sea to shining sea. Win your share of $250 grand. Celebrating 250 years of America with iHeartRadio.
Starting Monday, listen for the keyword weekdays at 8:10 a.m., 11:10 a.m., 2:10 p.m., and 5:10 p.m. on 94.5 3WS.
With iHeart, everything you hear is guaranteed human. That's why 78% of listeners trust their favorite radio host's product recommendations. If you manage a business or need to drive sales, that trust goes a long way. Call 844-844-iHeart. Again, that's 844-844-iHeart.
Memorial Day savings are happening now at Kenny Ross Ford. Drive a 2025 Bronco Sport for just $339 a month. Hurry, these deals won't last. Visit Kenny Ross Ford.
All right, back on cassette. Let's hit play. Some hi-fi recording. So, testing 1, 2, 3.
250 years of America with iHeartRadio.
Starting Monday, listen for the keyword weekdays at 8:10 a.m., 11:10 a.m., 2:10 p.m., and 5:10 p.m. on 94.5 3WS.
With iHeart, everything you hear is guaranteed human. That's why 78% of listeners trust their favorite radio host's product recommendations. If you manage a business or need to drive sales, that trust goes a long way. Call 844-844-iHeart. Again, that's 844-844-iHeart.
Success takes everything you've got. Your time, your focus, your drive. And the van that helps you achieve more costs less than you think. The Mercedes-Benz Sprinter, starting at just $48,990. Visit MercedesBenzofWashington.com.
Steel Stories by U.S. Steel, where innovation meets inspiration, is now on the iHeart Podcast Network. From the cars we drive to the homes we build, each podcast episode uncovers how steel connects us all, shaping progress, strengthening communities, and building the world around us. Told through the voices of the people who make the steel and make it matter. Discover how the strength of steel is shaping the future, one story at a time. Find U.S. Steel Stories now on the iHeart Podcast Network.
Memorial Day savings are happening now.
Drive to the homes we build. Each podcast episode uncovers how steel connects us all and make it matter. Discover how the strength of steel is shaping the future, one story at a time. Find U.S. Steel Stories now on the iHeart Podcast Network.
Memorial Day savings are happening now at Kenny.
And that's record operation on this unit. If I wanted to record an external source, though, I do have an adapter I bought a long time ago from Radio Shack. You can plug a line level source into the microphone input. It'll drop the signal down to a level it would work with, and you could do line level recordings on a device that doesn't have a line input. So for cassette playback, I'm going to play a track from this. This is vinyl. I love his stuff because, one, the humor is my kind of humor, and two, the melody and everything is just perfect to me. I don't know, I just absolutely love it, and I love demonstrating with it. So let's do this.
Oh, this summer never ends. Is there nothing around us except for our friends? I think I hear a knock at the door. You don't have to knock if you've been here before. It's time to let go of your fears. You're warping the wood with your crocodile tears. All these things we never tried. Is there nothing around us except for the sky? If you were to look in my grave, you'd find a skeleton and 4 screws in my leg. But if you were to look in my heart, I bet you'd find a toothy grin that you'll never forget. Oh, this winter lasts so long, but if it brings us together, how can it be wrong? And all this time we thought we had seems to flow like a river that winds so much that...
Remember this tape here? I opened it brand new when I was demonstrating that realistic front-loading, top-loading hybrid cassette deck. Oh, this is a normal bias tape. Let's see, I never erased what was on there previously, so let's just see what's on here.
You're mine, sting boy. Ouch! He stung me. He'll never do it again.
Why didn't I just stay home where it's nice and quiet and nothing ever happens?
Today's programming is supported by BE Galleries on Butler Street in Lawrenceville, presenting the latest work of photographer Charlie Brodsky and ceramicist Nancy McNary Smith in an exhibition titled Not Still Lives, opening October 5th. More information is available at begalleries.com.
This is 90.5 WESA, Pittsburgh's NPR news station, at HD1 on your radio and online at WESA.FM. Or tell your smart speaker to play WESA.
All right, that pretty much concludes this video on a General Electric Superadio mono boombox. Thanks for watching.